Okay, here we are at the start of Game 5. We have swapped the civs that Melkor chose in the previous game. Series tied 2-2, as we have TeRRoR in the green playing as the Vikings over on the left-hand side of the map. And we'll see he has nice stone in the back, both of his stones in the back, main gold kind of forward, and the other 2 golds outside of his base. The map's extra stone and this extra gold are pretty close to him though, so that'll be nice. Boar inside the walls, both the boar inside the walls, but deer outside next to this berry patch. Could even consider building a mill here to take both the berries and the deer, but that is kind of risky, especially if you don't want to do loom. And now on the other side of the map we have Melkor in the red. He'll be playing as the Goths this game. And nice back gold, both his extra gold, well, both his secondary golds are back. Boar towards the back. 1 boar will be outside of his walls. A deer inside the walls, though, those will be pretty good to lure. Main stone and main gold are pretty far forward, can be harassed from outside the walls, and his other stone is forward. This gold, kind of in the middle, but a bit closer to Melkor. If you look at the relics, 1 relic in Melkor's base, 3 relics right across the middle of the map, and we'll spot the other one down here by the gold pile next to TeRRoR. So it looks like really 4 of the relics are much closer to Melkor than they are to TeRRoR. So we'll speed this up as we'll look at what the players are doing throughout the Dark Age. Melkor going to be building the house before luring the boar. TeRRoR coming forward. Ooh, could TeRRoR go for the boar steal? Yes, he's doing it. Going to steal the boar from Melkor. That boar was outside, and he will bring it back. Just needs to be careful that the gate doesn't... Oh, and the boar's going to run back. He didn't hit it enough, but he will be able to go forward and hit it again with the scout. And boar only attacked the scout once, but the scout did get 2 hits, getting another attack on the scout, and gets it in the gate and successfully steals the boar. However, his villagers are going to be standing idle under the TC. He brought his scout forward, didn't collect up the sheep in the back of his base. So good that he stole the boar, but does have a bit of idle time. And boar steals, not the most important thing on Arena, because you do have these deer that you can lure, and you are going for a fast castle anyway, so you can set up your economy to recover from a lost boar. And we'll see, even on population, so idle time on the villages looks like didn't translate to idle time on the TC. And TeRRoR will need, he does see that he has a sheep in the back of his base. We'll need to scout back there to find the rest of his sheep. And now bringing in a boar with a villager, and gets it nice and cleanly underneath the town center. Pretty well timed, just as that one's finishing. And gonna go out, start his next lumber camp, as he sends a villager out to take the last boar. And we'll see where he brings his scout, if he'll finally come down and collect the rest of his sheep. That boar will help him though, because these deer would be rather annoying to lure, but we probably will still see him delete a piece of wall and try to bring them in. And now sending his villagers to gold, building the house on the way to the gold mine, as Melkor hasn't started transitioning to gold yet, but we will see him putting down a second lumber camp, as TeRRoR always does split his lumber on Arena. And now finally collecting up his sheep, scouting all the back of his base, seeing that he doesn't have any resources back there. Melkor hasn't gone forward yet. That will be nice for TeRRoR, seeing how close the 2 players are. And Melkor on his way up. Looks like... Or no, TeRRoR on his way up. Melkor is still making villages. And kind of annoying that this house placement is next to the mining camp. He's not going to be able to get his villagers between those gold mines and the mining camp. We already saw that villager trying to path his way around to the backside of that gold, so not going to be the most efficient gold mine for Melkor. TeRRoR will be up quicker, going up on 26 population, whereas Melkor chose to go up on 1 more, and we'll see what buildings he decides to place down. 2 on gold, we'll probably see the blacksmith market from him. Hasn't been taking any stone, so we're not going to see a castle and blacksmith market from TeRRoR. He'll be looking to click up immediately after that. As long as he does have the food, might need to make a 3rd villager. Looks like he will be a bit low on food, 740. Maybe if he garrisons the TC, gonna put down a couple more farms, but Maybe was floating a bit too much wood, but there we go, clicking up. Bit of idle time there. Melkor going with the barracks, going with a stable, and we'll see. Maybe he'll go for another stable market combination, stable blacksmith, and blacksmith in the back with 2 villagers. Looks like his feudal is going to be a bit slow, adding in even more villagers at the feudal age. And not mining stone, but he is going to go up on 31 pop to the castle age, and we'll see him add in some scouts as well. That'll help him get control of the map and get those relics. So he should be getting 4 of these relics, these 3 that are out in the middle but close to him, this one in his base. This one might be a bit too close to TeRRoR for him to deny, but if he does get out some scouts, who knows, maybe he can. It is quite the long way for him to run a monk across the map, though. Yeah, looks like TeRRoR did, without luring these deer, he did struggle a bit on food to click up, but it's okay. He is still up to the castle age first, and we'll see monastery, and siege workshop. So as the Vikings, he is going to look to push, not throwing down extra town centers. 6 villagers on gold. I'm going to make another house. And hasn't scouted the inside of Melkor's base. Doesn't know where his resources are. Is going to be housed slightly. And Melkor, meanwhile, he's up doing Bosar, going with a monastery, putting a TC in the back. Good, he has scouted the back of his base. And putting some houses up, getting a bit of a wall going next to the lumber camp. Maybe walling here down to the barracks would also have been a good idea. Also wall here towards his TC. That'll help in the case of a petard bust. But now we got the mangonels. Ooh, mangonels are going to go down to the scouts. Great play using the scouts to take out the mangonels. Trying to get a hit on the scout. Ooh, that mangonel has 4 HP. Go take it out. As both mangonels go down. And maybe one scout will get converted, but the monk is also going to go down as well. And no conversion. Monk goes down. And this monk just standing around here on the side of the map idle. Great use of the scouts by Melkor. Now the monks will come forward and they'll be able to heal the scouts up as well. As this monk's still standing here on the edge of the map, finally TeRROR's remembered him. Gonna go put the relic in that monastery. And TeRROR now adding in a second town center in the back, but very costly by him losing those mangonels. If he did want to go aggressive, he's not going to be able to do that anymore. Putting up an outpost, let's see, that'll help him spot any aggression that Melkor is going to do. Putting up another one in the corner. This is a good location, but this one, maybe it would have been better just to build this outpost over here in the first place, because the gates do have bigger line of sight than the wall anyway, and this outpost will help give TeRROR some good vision of the map. And Melkor collecting the relics, and just one more in the middle of the map. TeRROR hasn't actually scouted where that is, but it looks like Melkor will get that successfully. These scouts giving him a lot of map control, giving him the freedom just to boom up without being disturbed. Yep, 3 town centers for Melkor. Still even in villagers, but as we have the third TC from TeRROR, he will also, looks like he's also going to boom. This aggression didn't work out, so he's going to transition into a boom. And here's where the Vikings' economy of that free handcart and wheelbarrow will come in useful. But Melkor is still, though, taking control of the map with these scouts. Ooh, TeRROR doesn't want a petard to come in through the bottom of his base. Gonna build some houses along this wall. It's also good positioning so that they're not in the way of any other buildings. Could also consider doing a house wall around here. Has a pretty nice wall in the front of his base. Right now, it looks like the players are just going to be doing some booming. Scout from TeRROR might go down. And we'll get another hit on it, but he can bring it back just to be healed up by the monks. Wheelbarrow from Melkor as he's staying on 3 TCs. We'll have to see if a player decides to go up to a 4th TC, as both players still pretty even on villagers. We will see TeRROR pull ahead a bit on villagers while Melkor has to do his wheelbarrow upgrade. who could cancel a villager and build it there. TC is not queued up ideally. But 4th TC in the back for TeRRoR, gonna be on between the stone and the wood line. Meanwhile, still only 3 for Melkor. And Siege Workshop coming out at the front, so he might be looking to get aggressive. He has the map control, so if he wanted to, he could even put the Siege Workshop more forward. But those extra relics from that he was able to secure are going to help him very much in his economy. He only has 3 villagers on gold right now, and look at all that gold he has. That's because of the relics helping him. Monks are going to push the scouts away from the walls of TeRRoR, and Skate still vulnerable to petards through the gate, but he does have the outpost, so he will see them coming. Lots of outposts around his walls. If he gets attacked by mangonels, that'll give him vision of where the mangonels are and will help him to micro his mangonels better. Town Watch coming in, and let's just take a look at the line of sight, and we'll see there it is. Outposts now have a lot of line of sight. He'll be able to see mangonels from pretty far outside of his walls. And handcart coming in from Melkor, so he is going to go for a pretty big boom. Sometimes you will see players delay handcart till after they click up to Imperial Age, because clicking it while researching it does give you a stronger economy. It does slow down your Imperial Age time. And now Melkor is starting to move to stone. Of course, the Goths do benefit a lot from those castle technologies. And more mills, more farms, just booming as he's up to the Imperial Age. And speed this up while nothing's going on again. Scouts just dancing outside. Could get a mini L shot on the scouts, but nothing really going on there. Not going to be able to get in. Monks staying around inside the base. So 4 TCs from TeRRoR. Still 3 from Melkor. So TeRRoR has been able to pull ahead on the villagers with that extra TC. He will have more villagers, and if the game goes on for a while, we'll then have a stronger eco, especially since he's the Vikings and he's had more efficient villagers throughout the Castle Age. And the scout's now done. More barracks coming up from our Goths player, so could be seeing lots of champions, and that's exactly what we will see because he's doing the men-at-arms upgrade. He's going to upgrade his militias to men-at-arms. And here you go, both players not really doing any aggression right now. Since Melkor has the map control, he can come outside to start building more barracks forward and take advantage of that Goth infantry spam. And TeRRoR has a defensive castle up. We'll be able to get out some berserks, getting a second castle as well. And finally we'll lose the scout, but does pick off a monk. And Mangonel will take out the outpost, but gates there, TeRRoR will still have some pretty good vision of that area. And we'll see where the attack is coming in. Yeah, still this one outpost here will help him a lot in microing his mangonels if he decides to go for a mangonel defense up here. Berserk's going to come forward though and take out the mangonel as Melkor just slowly adding in more and more barracks around the front of his base. Champion upgrade coming in as he's going to be pushing with two-handed swordsmen. Berserker, of course, are a better unit than champions, especially Goths when they lack the final armor upgrade. But Goths can just make so many champions from these barracks that they can take these fights. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 barracks right now from Melkor doing iron casting, upgrading his infantry units as a champion. Conscription and chainmail armor from TeRRoR definitely needs that second armor upgrade to be able to engage. Elite Berserks are indeed quite powerful. And we'll see if the 3-town center approach from Melkor pays off. And now just adding in even more barracks. Players haven't made a move towards the bottom of the map yet. Let's see, TeRRoR has scouted those resources, as has Melkor. And another castle coming out towards the bottom by TeRRoR. Gonna help secure this gold, if raiding does come in, he can just garrison the villagers. Melkor destroying some of his walls to put up a castle in that location that'll help defend these barracks and also defend this stone. So that will be his Goth's castle. That will give him the castle upgrades he needs. And now, huge military difference, 40 to 20. Lots of champions streaming across the map. They're trying to wall, and that castle will push them away for now. Blast Furnace coming in for Melkor. It's the final upgrade he needs for his champions. As TeRRoR, double castle in the bottom, keeping this area really safe. Really trying to secure this gold pile of his, as he's just now doing plate mail armor. That'll be the final armor upgrade. And another castle here for Melkor, as these champions do need to engage something eventually. About 35 minutes in the game, and the players have just decided not really to fight each other. And the champions are going to come down, and will they meet the berserks? Monks are going to start converting, and they're going to make the champions run away. So, still no battle, but Melkor is leading in population. That Goth production bonus will benefit him a lot. And he has caught up on villagers. It's like TeRRoR did stop making villagers at around 120. And big fight now. But looks like Melkor has the numbers. TeRRoR is going to have to retreat. And even with 4 castle producing elite berserk, that can't match the production of all these Goth barracks. Vikings do have access to heavy scorpions, so that is an option versus the champions, as are onagers. But now Melkor, he's fully boomed. He has the Gothic 210 out of 210 population with lots of barracks and almost 90 military, as TeRRoR's at half that at about 45. And yep, TeRRoR will be going for scorpions, but I don't think he's going to be able to make enough scorpions to make a difference in this fight. Scorpion not even really attacking. And TeRRoR will fight underneath these castles, but Melkor has so many champions it really doesn't matter. Blast Furnace finally coming in for TeRRoR, but it's going to be a bit late, and it's not going to help out in this fight. Is TeRRoR going to lose all of his berserks, or will he save a few? And Melkor is still going to push in with his champions. Yes, he is. Doesn't really care about the castles, just going to fight underneath them, taking out the scorpions, and building some siege workshop in the middle of the map. Castle in the middle of the map, doing guilds, so he can sell his resources more efficiently later. And going to use the champions to take out the siege workshop. Swordsman line, of course, does get an attack bonus versus buildings. Will that be enough to take out the castle without siege behind it? We'll see chemistry coming in at the university for Melkor, so he could be looking to go for bombard cannons and or hand cannons. As Melkor is now moving out across the map, taking these areas on the bottom, he has the map control he needs to be able to secure both the gold piles. Stone is underneath TeRRoR's castle, so that will be delayed for a bit. Also rather inaccessible, only 1, 2, 3 tiles pointing out, the rest being surrounded in the forest. As Melkor has trebs, he's going to move them up, and once those castles are in range, TeRRoR is going to need to repair, and this is going to allow Melkor, with the numbers advantage, to force an engagement from TeRRoR before TeRRoR has the number of berserk he needs to take a fight. And just so many champions from the Goths. That castle under pressure can be repaired with 2 villagers, and we'll see if TeRRoR is going for the counter trebs. Nope, just going for more berserks, and if he sends the berserks against the trebs, that's just basically suicide, unless he does manage to sneak like a couple around the back coming through this gate of his. But those champions just so numerous that they're going to take out the berserks without much problem. And finally the berserks, their numbers, they do create rather quickly from the castle, will be able to spam this area. This castle was repaired, so Melkor just simply switched castles. And TeRRoR finally starting to gain a small advantage in this fight, but here come the Goth reinforcements. Look at all of these champions creating so quickly from all these barracks streaming across the map. And as both these castles, their stone is on fire, but the trebuchets are being taken out one by one. And now a battering ram coming in for TeRRoR, but he's just has to retreat, getting pushed back. That's just too many champions for him to fight. Even with, he has 4 castles producing elite berserk non-stop, but that's not the production you need against the Goths. Still rather stalematy, neither side being able to push in too far. TeRRoR needs to be careful not to overextend and lose a lot of his army while taking out the Trebs, so he will be spending a lot of time and a lot of stone repairing those castles. Looks like he is going to need to be buying stone from the market to keep the castles repaired, and now Melkor has his champions in position ready to defend the trebuchet. And it's just going to get more and more expensive for TeRRoR to be able to keep that castle up, and since he hasn't gone for any other upgrades, berserks are really his only other option at this point. He doesn't really have the gold for blacksmith upgrades or even just unit upgrades if he wanted to go for something else. And Melkor now just doing a great job of pushing and doing bodkin arrow. Does he have archery ranges anywhere? No. So, Melkor doing bodkin arrow, I guess, in case he ever does need to transition into archers or into a trash combination involving skirmishers. But TeRRoR just trying to send as many berserks forward as he can. And look at all those dead bodies on the ground. TeRRoR is coming out ahead in the KD, but that doesn't matter when Melkor has the stronger economy and the better production ability. With so many barracks now has... This is, what, 6 barracks and 1 screen right in the middle of a fight. When his troops are produced, they're basically right there, and still has all these barracks and a castle in the back. And now TeRRoR is getting pushed back, has had to continue getting stone for that castle. Looks like all of his back resources have been mined up already, as have his interior resources aside from this gold, and the villagers are going to, of course, stand in the middle of that gate while they try to mine the gold. And TeRRoR has noticed this expansion along the south by Melkor, but can't really do anything from it. The villagers are just going to stand on that gold mine and manage to do their mining. As the castles will start to drop. That one on 100 HP. Only 1 villager repairing. TeRRoR's out of stone, and no more stone. Not going to be able to keep the castles up. GG called. Production of Goth champions able to overwhelm the Viking berserks. Berserks, great unit to use against champions. Coming out on top in the KD, but just can't be sustained the way the Goth player can sustain the champions. And we'll take a look at the achievements. See TeRRoR losing the game even though he led in the military. And also had a really strong economy. That Viking economy and the 4 TCs we're seeing really paid off. But even with all that, couldn't outproduce the Goths. Melkor a bit quicker to the Imperial Age. We did see him have a bit of trouble clicking up in feudal there. And relic gold, also very helpful for Melkor, about 2,000 more than TeRRoR. Alright, so GG. Melkor has now come back from down 2-0 to take a 3-2 lead as we head into Game 6.